Welcome to Pseudo Creations, where we make your imagination a reality. We are going to be inflating a ton of balloons. This is going to be the most balloons you've seen me inflate on my whole channel in one sitting. Reason being is we have a too sweet birthday party for a 2-year-old, and we are covering the whole space with balloons. I usually design balloon backdrops. The most before today has been my grand opening, where I inflated a lot of balloons, but I had someone help me inflate most of them. With this design, I did all the inflation by myself, so it was quite a bit. Had sore thumbs for a couple of weeks afterwards. But the colors we are working with today are purple and pink. I'm going to say before I continue that this was completely worth it. My husband said this was probably one of his best designs I've created, or I guess inspired by mom of the birthday girl. But her goal here was for us to use purple and pink, but using more of purple than pink. So you're going to see me inflate quite a few balloons, but we're going to make sure that we're incorporating more purple than pink. She pretty much said 60% purple and 40% pink. So you see me dressed the way I'm dressed because we had the birthday party for Comfort's mom. So I decorated the blue. You probably saw that decor the last couple of weeks. I posted how I set up her entrance and also the main backdrop. So if you did not watch that video, you might see a bit of the decorations here shortly. Sabi is here to help me with a few things. Matt is in the back finishing off some of the props that we have for this design, and I'll show you all that as you keep watching. So I'm showing Sabi where to grab some of the foil balloons so I can have her help me inflate. Again, it's another all hands on deck situation. The kids are here because they attended the 60th birthday party. The dress code was blue, so you'll see us all wearing different shades of blue. And I actually started inflating these balloons while that birthday party was going on. I attended it for a short while and then just came because my mind was pretty stressed about the amount of work we have, because this party is the very next day. So we're waiting for the 60th birthday to be over so we can start setting up for this party, which will be 6 p.m. So you see me in this dress. I'll be in this dress all night long because my clothes were accidentally taken home, the ones I changed in from to this. So I'll be here all night working. Just one of those things that just happened. The twins are here as well. You see them dressed with their shades of blue. Busy. They love being here at the building. So Sabi is inflating all these balloons. I'll have a ton of foil balloons as well to inflate, and you guys will see all that. Now we're on to the purple. I'm designing with the 11 inches and 18 inches, creating pairs of that. I know I'm going to have to do a ton, and in order for me to fill up more and cover up more space, I'm inflating a lot of the 18 inches. Now I have balloons to inflate for the entrance, which is what you're going to see today, but I'm also creating a big backdrop for the stage. They wanted a stage with all the sweets, the candy, the donuts, everything set up on the stage. So because the video is so long, or I guess all the videos I recorded are so long, I'm going to have to post that next week. So if you're not subscribed to the channel, please click that subscribe button, and of course the notification bell as well, so when we post videos you don't miss them. They'll come up on your notifications for you to be able to watch. But you definitely, I would say, you want to watch that one. I really liked how it turned out. A lot of times we're We have clients who want smaller arches, and we're so thankful for that. But every time we get someone who is willing to go the extra mile to do more, it makes us so happy because we're able to do more. We can design some of these backdrops, but it helps, with us just time wise and financially to be able to have it a paid event to share with you guys. So you definitely want to subscribe to watch this and get a notification for the rest of this video. But we're going to focus on the entrance today, and I'll show you all the things we do at the entrance. We did like a kind of a runway design as well, because the client wanted her daughter to kind of drive her little ice cream cart into the building as we sing happy birthday to her. If you are on my social media, I think I created a shorts for that as well. So we're on to foil balloons. With the foil balloons, again, we're focusing on purple and pink. So you see me sort out the foil balloons that I get in the package, put aside the ones that are not pink or purple, because she was very, very particular with this. So I made sure I didn't incorporate any of the extra colors. I think I remember designing her, I designed her welcome sign, and I think one of the donuts was covered in a pink, no, it was in a blue, either blue or yellow icing, and she wanted me to make sure it was changed to pink. So we hopefully understood the assignment. I'll let you guys know in the next video that I post her reaction to everything in that one. But I am inflating, sorting out whatever is ice cream, donut, candy related. That's what we're going for here. Another reason I have this many foil balloons is because we are going to string some within the venue all along the top of the ceiling, because she wanted lots of candy everywhere, and I suggested that we do that instead of having to drape the room. It would be more fun to have all the candy hanging down from the ceiling. So we did that with a lot of the donuts, a lot of the single balloons, and I'll show you guys that as well in the next video. It seems like I'm promoting the next video here more, but this backdrop was a cute one for sure. This one at the entrance. Balloons are everywhere. The pile just keeps going up and up. I run out of space actually. Again, like I said, I only have this space to inflate because there's a party going on next door. But let me show you guys here what we're doing. So this donut here is going to be a table for the treats. We're not even close to being done with that. I have macarons that are done, some of the candy here that we still need to sand down, and this is my big donut. Of all the props, this was the one I was most proud of. I'm working on all of this back and forth because I am between painting and inflating balloons. So as the paint is drying, I'm inflating balloons. This is what the hall looks like after the party. This was the 60th birthday party. I'm sure you watched the video if you are that faithful subscriber who supports us all the time. But we finished this decor. We showed you how we set all of this up. They are going to be coming to clean the venue shortly. So this is what I have so far with the balloons. That backdrop held on forever over there. It was that Father's Day backdrop. It was still up. I ended up taking it out last week actually, just to clear this space. Okay, because you've seen that they're still cleaning, I'm going to start by putting together the garland, because that'll help clear some of this space so I can make more of the garlands. We have one huge backdrop on the stage. We have a backdrop, not a backdrop, we have a balloon arch at the entrance, and then we have two balloon arches over the top of the cake area. We have balloons with the candy cart. So I'll clear some of this by putting balloons together. Then when I'm done, I'll inflate more to continue. That'll give time to clean up that area. You saw how full this space was, so I realized if I can create some of the clusters, put things together, I'll have more room to inflate more balloons. Again, we are going with a 60% purple and 40% pink. Therefore, I'm creating bigger clusters of the purple, then adding that touch of pink. So we have about 6 balloons in a cluster here of the pink in the 12 inches. Then I'm creating one cluster in the 12 inches of purple and the other cluster with a mix of 18 and 11 inches and combining that to form one bigger cluster, if that makes sense. So one of these clusters has 12 and my other pink balloon. So the purple has 12, the pink balloon has 6, and I'm alternating those colors, just creating pairs each. So when I go to assemble the garland for the backdrop or this entrance, then I'm able to just decide what I want to add. I leave very few of just the single clusters together just so I can have more room. I'm just making space here so that I'm able to inflate more. These are not even close to the number that we need. If you guys have inflated this many balloons before, let me know in the comments what you do about your thumb or how you go about it. I've just gotten so used to inflating and tying the necks that I don't want to go with the fishing line method, but to save my thumbs, I know I would have to do the fishing line method over anything. Next, we are moving on to our runway. We have a runway that will have some candy on that for when she's coming through the entrance. So for this, I need a balloon sizer. You see me stop a couple of times and I try to take all that out as much as I can when I'm editing, but Jenny is doing different things. She went home and came back. She's helping me set up a few things. I think it's about midnight at this point. Yes, because I remember her saying she was going to take a nap and come back. It's either midnight or 1, but she's back. She's going to start working on the ice cream cone, the prop that we have for the stage. So I'm sizing these balloons to 8 inches, and now I'm just creating quads of the balloons I size because I just want to create a long column just to lay down and put some candy on that, so we're able to put that on both sides of that ramp when you come into the ballroom space. You see that in the picture at the end. Now I'm tying some string on there. This is our ribbon that comes with the foil balloon. So you want to tie your first one on the first quad of balloons and then lay that flat. Next, you're going to tie your second one and just twist it so that it alternates in that space. And we're going to keep adding the balloons as much as to the length we want it to be. So you're pulling on that string so you minimize any gaps that you might have in between the balloons. But I'm twisting it a couple of times between each one, and I'll keep adding. This was a little hard because I'm not as tall, so the more I add, it makes it harder to inflate. Luckily, they left my shoe. I just noticed at least I didn't have to work barefooted or with the heels I was wearing. Anyway, moving on, as you can see, I'm pulling on that string so that I don't have as many gaps in this design. This works well if you want to create single columns and you're not working outside. You can do this and just put a weight on the bottom. But for this design, we're going sideways like this. So I'm going to add a couple more and then we will move on to adding the foil balloons. I added a couple just to make it fit the ramp because I did measure the length of the ramp and I want it to go all the way through the end. Now I'm just tying the end so we don't lose any balloons. And now it's time to add the foil to this. We'll make 2 of these. So first we're going to go with our candy cane. I'm using a 260 balloon on the end there. Once I'm able to tie it as tight as I can. Then I have the two ends that are loose to just wrap it around this. So you can see me pulling on the ends there. You take one, just wrap it around. You can either keep wrapping it around like I'm doing here, or you can tie it, whichever one is easier for you. I think I wrap it a couple of times, then I double tie to keep it in place. This is really organic. It doesn't have to be perfect. I just wanted it to show as you come in, that pop of design when you're coming into the ballroom. Second candy cane, we're repeating the same process here, just tying that through, wrapping it around until we know it's set in place. You don't want that popping out, especially with the kids party, that you'll have kids that are so attracted to these foil balloons, attracted to all the color. They'll want to touch it, move things around. So making sure that's secure. Of course, you can always adjust the balloons. Then we have this swirl balloon, foil balloon. We're adding that on as well, and we're using our 260. This time I just make a loop and just put that around one of the 11-inch balloons. I'm looking for my other balloons. This is the second column we're working with here. You can see how tall that is. Once I have that in place, I'm going to go ahead and try to repeat the same process so that it's somewhat even on both sides. Later on, I'm able to add a few more foil balloons. I just want it to look somewhat the same. So tying that in place, then we'll move on to, oh no, I was putting my weight on there. If you can see, I have two weights on each one just so it doesn't turn around, because it's not laying completely flat and I'm alternating balloons. It can rotate with the foil balloons I put. So I have a weight on each end towards the bottom so that it keeps that design stuck down and it doesn't twist around. So adding more of these foil balloons, which are the same as the first one you see, and we're going to get that even. I end up switching things around with that first one, but you'll see me just adding as we go. Once we're done with this, we can move on to our main backdrop in the foyer area. She wanted that door completely covered. We end up putting some of the huge printouts for the entrance. The plan is to paint, come do balloons while the paint dries, go paint some more, back and forth. So we're gonna go work on painting the bottom of the donut if the top is dry, because I have to flip it. As you can see, the cleaning is still in process but well advanced. All the tablecloths are off, all the plates and everything are off, and they are busy cleaning. I decide to sand the bottom of this donut. Again, if you're interested in watching this tutorial, let me know in the video below and I'll work on editing those for you. You'll see the other props in the other video, so that will come first. Jenny is hanging our backdrops as I continue to work on the balloons. We have several backdrops that are going to go against the wall. The main idea for this was to have most of the walls covered with something, most of the ceiling covered with some splash of pink, mostly purple, and just get the space. These are the big ice cream cone banners that she purchased, and we're planning to put this on the door. The size is not quite where I want it to be, but we're going to work on this once we're done. So they took a break. Judith was cleaning with her friend and she took a break to go get something to drink because she said she could help me with some of the items that I have for today. So since they were planning to stay a little longer to help out, they went to get something to drink and come back. So I'm thankful for them as well, because they helped me quite a bit with few projects here and there. I wasn't expecting that much help, so it took me a second to get myself going for help, to kind of assign tasks, I guess delegate, but it worked out well. They stayed till about noon, I believe. Yes, about noon. So we're still going. I think it's about 2 a.m. right now. I'm tying my 260 on the pipe and drape so that it's ready for when I have all the balloons ready to go. You've seen me do this. I'm creating that loop so that I can just loop the balloons on. And since we're getting closer to the morning, I will have a few more interruptions because I have to assign tasks, I have to supervise tasks, I have to make sure things are in place, I have to just back and forth. So as much, it took me way longer to inflate. I'm just popping all the balloons to show you how it appears. I like this editing method, but I have to keep pausing to make sure all the other things are done the way we want it done. But everybody is working so hard and worked long hours. We have been doing this for about 3 days for this event, and not counting the one we just completed and the smaller event that was the Friday night. We had a celebration of life Friday, which we had to get the venue ready for. But I have this long balloon garland. I'm attaching it to the top first, and I'm gonna set up all my props on this and get that situated before I raise it up. Obviously want to raise it above where that gold metal goes across the top of the door frame. I had not inflated my filler balloons. This was one I was dreading a little bit. So I'm working on that right now, inflating what I think would work for this. We still have to design the balloons that are going to go on the easel with the welcome sign. So I'll show you guys how I do that very quick. It's not going to be a full tutorial. I have one on my channel, I believe, where I did the jungle design I would say a couple of years ago. So I have that, but if you want something more detailed, let me know, but I'll brush through that towards the end. So here we are attaching the filler balloon to the foil balloon. That's how we're going to get the foil balloons onto the backdrop. Like I said, I'm pausing to help, pausing to do different things. This is where the favors are going to go on that back wall. So I'm helping Jenny carry that so she can put that on there and get it cleaned up, ready for the birthday party. So you can see how I'm adding the foil balloon. I'm going to try to add everything I can towards the top to minimize the time I take to climb. So she's grabbing the balloon pump so that she can start working on my balloons that are gonna go on the ceiling. Not necessarily on the ceiling, but along the ceiling. We're gonna string that across from one end of the venue to the other and repeat that about 4 or 5 times to get the ceiling full of donuts and balloons, pink and purple. So you see me designing now all the candy, just alternating where I want different candy to pop up on this backdrop, getting all that situated, making sure that I'm not being too repetitive on the same candy, but just evening things out so that it's well spread out and the different candies show for the backdrop. Once I'm able to get all this done, then I'm gonna raise the backdrop. I think, oh no, at this point all the kids are home sleeping. Richard is back. He went home with the kids. He was exhausted, took a little nap, and he's back. I see him now. So it is about 5 a.m. I would say. We're still going. I'm still in that dress. I think every time I wear that dress, I'm going to remember this day, just working in this dress. Who would have thought that I would wear a dress like this and inflate balloons and set up for a whole event? But here we are. We do what we can, and we're thankful and blessed that we're able to do this, that we can do this. So adjusting the garland here, as you can see, the purple has more of that pop, more of that organic look, and we have more purple than pink, which is the goal. Did forget to mention that this customer found me on social media and contacted me for the decor. this is what we have so far. Do you see the balloons stringed up? So we had to repeat that a couple of times. This is where the food is gonna go. It looks amazing. We have cupcakes, popcorn, as you can tell, and we'll have a couple more things to hang. I was saying the customer found me on social media and contacted me for the decorations. And she lives in another town. Initially, the plan was for me to go over there and decorate for this event, but she could not find a venue, and at the time didn't know I had a venue, so drove about an hour and a half to see my venue and loved it and decided to go with it. So that saved me from traveling with a truck full of things and a lot of people, and it was more convenient because I had more help here, whether with the kids or everyone else who is at the venue to help out, rather than travel to go spend the night somewhere with everybody and try to be back to pick up and all that stuff. So this worked out really well. So you can see Richard is busy working on different things at the venue. We're clearing the space because we're going to use the white Chiavari chairs, not the gold that are all stacked there that we use for this event. We're going to have to move white chairs that we covered with pink chair covers because nothing could be really white. We had to do pink chair covers on all our white chairs. That was done before Jenny and her daughters did that. So they were stacked all in our dressing rooms ready to come out. But you can see we have to put those gold chairs away, pack away the serpentine tables and the extra tables because we're only putting out 12 tables for this event. I'm continuing on with all the foil balloons, making sure that I can alternate everything. You can see where they string the balloon on a fishing line, tie one end, add another balloon, tie another, just keep adding, leaving gaps in between. This fishing line helps a lot to kind of create the illusion that you tied individual balloons, but it helps a lot when you have a bigger space and you don't want to climb on a ladder to hang several balloons in each area. So you're able to just do that. I think if you've been watching the channel, you saw where we decorated for an Indian engagement at one of our local history museums, and we did the similar method with the balloons they had in the sage green, pink, pastel pink and white. That turned out really pretty as well. So you check it out if you have the time, and you'll see what I'm talking about, because in that one I explain more how we string the balloons. So now we're moving on to adding more of the foil. We're close to being done with this arch setup. Then we'll move on to the balloons that are gonna go on our easel. But I'm trying to find a place for this candy cane. It took me a minute there to figure out where exactly I wanted to put it. Matt is in the back painting the donuts. This event was on a Sunday. I sent the clay for my mom to make the sprinkles and bake it for me and bring it after church. So Matt is working on the donut, painting our base, getting all that ready. Then we're going to add the sprinkles when my mom brings them later on this afternoon. But we are all hands on deck. He even goes and brings one of his friends that I meet for the first time, and she stays the whole day till the event starts to help. That's how much more we still had to do. I was up literally 24 hours. I spent the rest of Monday completely out. Of course, I still had to stay for this event, make sure everything was well taken care of. Just one of those things I've never done before, but you know, you learn to prep more, be more prepared months and months ahead of time if you can, especially with how busy we are with everything else going on, other jobs, other commitments, kids, all that stuff. So again, if you have events coming up and you know for sure the client is committed to you, you're committed to them, just especially these props. The props were the biggest issue, were to try and get all of them done, but we pulled it off, as you'll see again in the next video. So stay tuned for that. Putting things away, bringing things out, finishing off the setup. We are on to our balloons that are going to go on the easel. I designed this welcome sign on Canva and got it printed. So you've seen me do this as well. So we're just going to put the balloons on here. So working on adding a few balloons. For these balloons, you don't inflate to the size. I'm using 11-inch balloons, but I'm inflating less than 11, maybe 8 or 9, just to give it where it doesn't swallow my sign. I'm just trying to make it where it just creates an accent on this backdrop or the welcome sign. We're mixing colors on this one because I didn't want it to all be clusters, so I am just twisting them but adding 2 pairs of the purple and 1 pair of the pink, making the balloons a little smaller so I have more of that tapered look towards the top, tying the necks together to combine my clusters so that I'm able to attach it. I already have the 260, as you can see, hanging on the end of my easel right there. Once I combine everything, then I'm going to attach it to the backdrop. The thing with this is when you put the balloons, it starts shifting your sign over. So you just have to find ways to adjust and go through. Sometimes you have to tuck the sign in. Sometimes you have to move balloons around because you still want to read the sign. I probably could have gone a little smaller on the balloons, but it still worked out fine. You just alternate, move things around. Now we're going to move on to adding bigger clusters on the bottom, and then with the filler balloons. I'm not so worried that I'm seeing so much purple at the front because I do plan to add the pink where you see the purple. That'll kind of break the color down a little bit, but of course we are doing more purple. So bigger cluster on the bottom just to finish things off, continuing to add the foil balloons, and then we are going to create kind of a twist on here, so turning it over so that it arches a little more, and just thinking of how to add more of the theme. We're going to add the ice cream cone on the easel using our fishing line to attach it in place. Then I'll show you guys how the final thing looks. So you'll see the little cute card that they saw that matches everything here towards the end. And thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for the like. It really supports my channel. Hope to see you guys in the next video.